We live?
What's up? We're live, I think. We'll find out here in a second.
Hello.
That's
We
right.
got Angie on.
Special guest, First Lady.
Angie. Angie Dawn.
There we go. We're live.
There you go.
Hello, everyone.
Welcome, Facebook. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
If you've been around for a while,
You mean product placement
You know
for us out?
you're a Pepsi guy.
You sponsors too.
You're a Pepsi.
Would you take any sponsors?
Absolutely.
That's what I'm talking about.
We'll take it. Your preference is Pepsi. You're one of the rare people.
I like them all.
Our whole family's pet.
Like when people ask how they can give, we take cash, check, money order, Venmo.
It don't matter to as long as you bring us up.
Visa, American Express.
We got a lot to cover too, so
We
we
do.
better get going.
Let's do it. Waiting on Jordan's intro.
Tools keeps crashing. Well,
See?
that's fine.
Okay, no, this time it wasn't me.
That's okay. I'll open
Well, the
mine
reason I say that because when Angie texts,
It always is until it's not.
I'll keep it.
Well, people are watching Facebook. Yeah,
Thank y'all for doing it. I'll tell you how Angie Dawn got here because it's pretty funny.
we're always happy to have Andy.
How about I tell you?
Well,
You get that intro music?
yeah, we ready.
Yeah, nigga.
Do it. That's the real one.
Sounds a lot
What
better.
did Josh do last week?
He tries. He does better than me,
He does.
but it's not the same.
It was a little flat.
Not the same. Welcome to Backstage
It
with
was
the
rough.
Simple Church podcast.
Hey, dog, it's a little flat.
little pitchy.
Remember, Ray?
You
Yeah.
can give credit for
Look,
trying.
I on my resume, I told y'all singing was not a strength.
Yeah.
Not on the list. Thanks for joining us. We got a full house today. Jordan's back off camera.
Yo.
Co-host Josh Mitchell, Evan
Yo,
Semanco,
yo.
lead pastor Justin Haigler, loves it when I call that. I know.
Yes. Uh-huh.
And First Lady.
Oh,
Angie.
she'll love that. Yeah. All right, so Angie, you're not typically here. Good to be back, by the way.
You've been before.
We got a lot to
Here comes
cover.
us.
I know, but typically you're not. I'm glad you're back. But this is what happens, Evan.
I'm
I get in my own house. There's only two of us because the kids are gone.
empty nest.
I just want y'all to, because then she's gonna have her statement.
Go ahead.
But I get a text. I think I need to be on the podcast tomorrow.
She texted you in
In
your own
my
house.
Like, walk in there and just say, "Hey, honey, I think I want to be." No, you gonna text me? And was I ugly? I said, "Baby, whatever you want to do, it don't matter."
We're always
Then-
excited to have you.
And then she was like, "Was it okay?" And I'm like, "You do anything you want to do. We don't care."
It's
Like,
all fine.
Yeah, I'll
you're
tell-
always
Y'all
invited.
want my perspective what happened?
On everything.
Please.
Come on.
It's true. What he said is true. But a little before that, I was in the tub
Mm.
where I do a lot of great thinking.
Relax.
Mhm.
You want to get out of the tub?
I don't know if it was y'all's podcast popped up on my TikTok or what happened. I can't remember, but I was like, you know what? I bet tomorrow on the podcast they're gonna be talking about your upcoming procedure.
My heart.
It's a big
Your-
deal.
your
Wanna know?
heart stents that he's having placed in today. I mean, this week. And so I was like, you know what? I probably should be there giving my perspective.
And follow the Simple Church on TikTok.
Yes, all right. So let's quickly get to that because then we got like other important stuff talking about, like partner party. Because I feel like I didn't
Yeah,
cover everything that before.
You,
Okay.
I know, but like there was things that came up after I think it happened, and then also what's coming up, like Father's Day. We have a little bit of things we're gonna talk about,
Okay.
but
Well,
you need to explain.
Because I'm.
Let's go back.
I'm
If you're
just-
new
I'm
to the
plugged in.
podcast, you hadn't heard, you want an update, tell us where we're at right now.
All right, so where we are right now. So make it a very long story short, I went in for a calcium score. It was a little high, a little elevated, 170.
But let's go back to the beginning of that. Why did you take the calcium test?
Mainly because my mom, we have a history of heart issues, but it came up and it was on sale. So I went
It
to
was
Target.
a- it was a
You came to us
discount.
a year ago.
Willis Knighton, thank you, WK.
Found
Right?
proof of it.
They came out and it was a deal, $50. Well, actually, I thought it was 25, ended up being 50, which that's okay.
For this
50
day and
bucks
age.
could have saved my life. Okay. So I got that. It came back. They found I had the cyst, which we didn't even know. That ain't even really important right now.
Became a side story. That was a big story for a
That
while.
was a big story. Then they come in and go, "Hey, let's just do these stress tests." I run the stress test. I passed. My cardiologist, Jeff, good friend, went to high school together. He says, "I thought something in your EKG right at the very end. Ain't a big deal, but I don't know." Then he comes back. "I think I should do a cath to be safe." And I'm like, "Dude, you're the doctor. I'm not." We do a cath last Wednesday. They come in and surprise everybody because I'm wide open 99% of the time. Like, I don't know how everybody else lives. I only know my life. I'm running around doing 5 things before I got here today. Don't have any symptoms, don't have anything that's going on. And he comes back and says, "You're 80% blocked in 2 arteries, one of them being the Widowmaker." And I'm like, "What?" And then Angie's like, "Go ahead." From there, real fast, what I love about Jeff is he says, "By the way, all of your arteries are widowmakers. So there's only one known as a widowmaker.
Yeah.
But if any one of them goes,
You're
you're in trouble. You're
What do
dead.
they call one the Widowmaker?
Just
I
because
think
I think
it's a much-
it's also hidden.
It supplies 50% of blood to the heart.
Mm.
So if that one goes, you're in trouble.
Now, but think
Sounds like
about
all
this.
though you said.
Yeah, but think about
But
this.
this
Like,
one in particular.
well, like for
supplies
me, it's 80% blocked. How do I?
You don't feel it at all.
I don't even know how I'm even.
Worked in the building, doing stuff, yard work,
80%
constantly
of two of them.
walking.
Yeah.
I mean,
Just
this is
walking
what
every
this is.
This is what I told his cardiologist. I said 2 days ago, he was outside digging ditches in the, like, we have clay soil in Benton. It is like, if you've ever tried to dig in clay
Yeah.
soil, it is tough. He's out there sweating, digging like trenches. And I'm like, and he's fine. So we were shocked, to say the least.
So the reason happens, I don't know. You know, when you go in, there's so many things I'd love to talk about in a card cap. That'll be a whole other thing because I had no idea what to expect, and I don't think most people do. But I give a huge shout out to Amber, who is Willis Knight, Piermont.
Is that who's a partner party?
She goes to St. Louis. Didn't know she is, but she was so sweet, so kind, helped me through everything. And I've never done anything like this. Well, my mom has, but none of us have. So I don't really know what's going on. But anyway, we connect, we talk. I mean, it's been a good thing because we're all trying to learn, and we don't know this is coming. And poor Angie dog's out there with Emma, and it's like,
our one child that's in town, we're sitting there. I was not prepared. As soon as the cardiologist came out, it seemed to take a little bit longer than I thought.
well,
And
that
then
one.
he
Let me
comes
tell you
back
that didn't.
finally.
Hold on, that didn't have anything to do with the procedure. That is prep. What I try to tell everybody is, it when they say they're going back, it's just because they got to get you naked. Cause once they get you naked, then they got to put this on you and cover this up, give you the medicine and blah blah blah. So they're taping your wrist. So it's a lot of prep because the procedure is very fast. It's the prep that leads to that procedure.
Okay, so-
And they weren't even in the room exactly right. I mean, they got a lot to go on. So
Yeah. Anyway, so he comes out, and I wasn't that nervous yet. And I really went in there thinking it was going to be nothing. Like I thought, he's fine. He's so strong. I've never seen anybody work
Healthy.
as hard as him.
Healthy.
Yeah,
Losing
he's
weight.
fine. Never had any chest pain or anything. So when the cardiologist came back out into the waiting room, and he goes, we're gonna come in here and talk in a minute, but he's got some blockage, and we're gonna have to do some stents next week. But we're gonna do it next. He was like, I'll be back to see you in just a minute. I was like, I crumbled like a baby. I mean, I had no idea. You have all this pin up, like, emotions anyway, like, just as you're sitting in the hospital waiting on your husband to get his heart checked out. But did I know that it was just on the edge of just, like, explosion? No, I didn't. So I, like, lost it there for a minute. Then I'm looking at my baby child. I'm like, I'm sorry, Emma. I'm sorry. I'm trying not to, lose it and make her scared. But I couldn't help it. So I was like, John, let me just take it off the top, and I'm going to be able to go back in there and see him, because I don't want to cry in front of him either.
Why would you end up?
I just didn't want to be like the emotional one that I am.
Why don't you just be you? Why don't you just be you? Okay then.
So then, of course, as soon as we got in the room with you and the doctor starts talking to us, I cry again just looking at you.
But I think they all think I'm just going to croak. But I'm telling you, I ain't going nowhere, cuz. I got
don't
work.
think
To do. I got
I
things
don't
to do.
think so. That's why I think I was just so surprised by it all.
Sure.
So
And then
that's why
Emma saw her friends later. She goes, I just wasn't prepared. And they were like, why weren't you prepared? Because my mama wasn't prepared.
well, the truth is you don't know. But this is why I think they weren't prepared and nobody is. You don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
So you walk in and you're blind and you're thinking, oh, with family history, I could have some blockage, but it's not going to be significant. But when you're 80% into, it's also fixable. That's why I kind of go back. If I hadn't done all this, you wouldn't have any of the options. You would really just be.
Someone stays pretty active. You don't just sit down on the couch watch TV all day.
No.
No, I'm pretty much always going at some
Yeah.
level. So that's why I think it's kind of a little bit shocking. But no, I guess the lesson for everybody out there, like if you're listening or like, I think what I'm learning is like, I joked about me being a proactive male to the doctor. There's not a lot of us out there. It just saved my life.
It did.
So like when you really look at like, why should you do that? Or why would you go get the test? And why would you trust a cardiologist? And I think I know why is that why people don't is because I ain't got time for that. This is going to slow me down.
And I felt fine.
Right. And I'm good. But then you have the potential of being the guy that, man, I didn't see it coming. He's dead. That dude just dropped dead on work or whatever's going to go on. And now I understand it, and God obviously put it in my heart to go do that, and he's been working.
Literally in your heart.
Literally. You know, like, hey, go take the calcium test, and then it's led on this journey. And we'll get back to the cyst, because they're saying, hey, this your plumbing's got to be fixed before we worry about the cyst. So then they come back and go, we may do the cyst in 6 months, or there's some theory go like, let's just get an MRI in 6 months, and you may leave it in the rest of your life because it may not be changed at all. It may just be a benign growth
Tumor.
to tumor, right? So at whatever level, we'll figure that out down the road. Plumbing's first, and that happens in 2 days, and then I'll take off a few days, make sure Open Eyes is practicing. But we got gigs we got to get to. We're on the road, son. We coming back together.
You weren't worried about that the first time, Open Eyes, with your heart procedures.
No, but what I'm saying is like, I won't be able to. I did hear I can't let my I can't get elevated for a day, so I probably won't need, because if I get up here, I'll get excited and
No,
want to do
you
it. So
will
I'll have
not
not.
be.
We know.
Yeah, so I'll have to
I-
just chill,
Mama's going.
Draw the line.
Right.
and then we'll come back and I'll be ready to roll.
Shame to the
We can
vaccine.
take some time.
Don't
I
let it
really
go.
am.
Same
We're
way.
not gonna play around.
So now, is there anything else you want to tell anybody? Like, why don't you brag on your husband for being proactive?
There we go. Real quick before you do, Angie, we got people watching that want to hear from you.
Oh,
So
yeah.
thanks for tuning in live on Facebook. If you're listening from the podcast, the audio version comes out the day after Spotify, Apple Podcasts, but you can join us live and ask questions, make comments. We'd love to hear from you. Talk to Angie today. Ask Angie anything you want to know. Like David Kruger said, finally glad we'll have a level-headed guest on.
Got that right.
Crew, you're cruel, man. What are you-
His birthday this week.
Hey, happy birthday.
Birthday.
Tina's watching from Ruston. We got Carol in Australia said good day. She's
Good day,
getting
mate.
breakfast on the second day of winter in Australia, June 2nd.
Wow.
Wow, because they're
Happy
down under. It's the upside down of America.
6:30 a.m.
down.
Australia. They would say we were upside down.
Yeah, they look, but we know where they are. They're down
Kathy
under.
watching in Marshall. Billy watching in Blanchard. So thanks for tuning in. Thanks for joining us live on Facebook. Ask us your questions. Let us know comments like
Yeah.
what Angie thinks about all this.
So, you gonna brag on me?
I really am gonna brag on you.
Yeah, because there's a lot of men that don't go get all that done. I need a little credit right now. You heard me?
Give him a pat. on the
I
back.
am. I'm gonna give you credit because when he came home, it was like March. What was it, February? He'd gone for your little well check, and he does a great job going for his little well check.
Some people don't do that.
So don't do that. He's good
Shout out
about
to
doing
Billy.
that.
When you supposed to do that?
Thank you.
Once a year.
Once a year, insurance pays for it. Anyway, so he went and he came home and goes, I'm gonna go do this little thing. They have this special going on because like February is heart.
He came and told us he was so excited. It was a deal.
I was trying to tell you.
All right, we go.
It's like heart awareness or whatever month, and he said it's a special, so it's like $25. I'm gonna go do it, and I was like, oh, that's super cool. I think I'd probably go and do that too. Anyway, so he went, and I didn't think anything of it, even knowing his mom's history, because his mom, I don't know what all he's told you all.
We talked about it a couple weeks ago after.
Talked about, yeah, that she had started having heart attacks when she was
40s.
40s, had a bunch of stents over the
Heart
years,
attacks, yeah.
heart attacks, and then ultimately died at 65, I think it was.
it's fine.
65 from congestive heart failure. There's nothing else they could do for it. We were shocked at that.
Yeah.
But because of the way you are so active,
And for the record, I didn't want that to be my story. Like, they look at you and go, I almost cussed right there. Thank you for a laugh. That gum. We didn't know that you didn't have anything done, and there's nothing we can do.
Well, you made the joke Sunday too about you're not getting divorced. It wasn't little Debbie's fault.
No, yeah, because they're like, I made the joke. I told Angie that she was all mad too. I said, honey, they think I'm getting a divorce. We're not getting a divorce. I said, from little Debbie, honey. Then she was like, oh, I get it.
it's fun.
But it
Somebody
really is
else said-
genetics.
Yeah.
What I learned from that
Yeah.
and this whole experience is we all can eat better and exercise. But as they said, you could have never ate enough healthy, or exercised enough. There are some genetic factors that you just can't overcome. So you have to know that. And the earlier you know that, the better off you are to begin to take medicines. Because even like everybody goes, well, I'm gonna have to diet or whatever. Well, obviously you should eat and get exercise and all those things, but there's also medications that they could have given a little earlier had I known earlier. So it's true. Like but to be fair to me, which I'll give myself some credit, then I'll beat myself up. To give myself credit, 5 years ago, I went and did a stress test.
Yeah.
And I passed, same way. And he said, well, let's just go ahead and get on a stat. And I didn't do it. I was like, I ain't worried about the stat. What they were saying this last time was it may have prolonged this procedure a couple of years because eventually it was going to get, but A statin is just a tool. It's another tool in the belt of trying to,
On one right now.
yeah.
You
Yeah.
are already, yeah.
Yeah, well, it
Well, his brother started taking one really young too.
Yeah.
So, you know,
We
and
got a history of parts of
Yeah.
you do,
but-
yeah. So see, that's why.
so anyway, that's all to say. So I,
But anyway, yeah, and you did try statin for like 3 days one time.
and that was because I was on the wrong one and gave you muscle pains
Yeah.
and cramps.
So instead of just throwing it in the wind, you know, try another one. Because this is just for future. For
And there-
those other people that are saying, "Oh, I tried it, made my muscles ache." Well,
And I'll
there's
give- I'll give you another. There are actually new medications that they put in conjunction with statins that actually have even a more significant reduction. One example, my bad cholesterol decreased 100 over 100 points in less than 3 weeks on medicine.
Isn't that crazy?
So like if you can't eat enough to do that,
Yeah,
like there's
right.
not enough, I mean, eat well enough to do that. So that's where it's kind of like, and they want me now under 50. So like when you look at cholesterol, so we're getting there. I'm close. I think I was at 60 the last check. Now he'll check me this Wednesday. And by the way, they bumped me back to 8 o'clock now. So now I can't eat even longer. So I might as well stay asleep. Just kidding. It's all good. You know, but you got I was going in at 6. Now I'm going to be, they had another more important case. I said, put them before me. Seriously. It's all good.
But
So-
anyway, I am very proud.
Way to go, Angie.
Very
Let's go.
proud
So,
of your
Angie, let's
taking
talk
care of your
about-
health.
For everybody listening, you don't get the platform as much. You don't speak as much as he does. What did you do to process all of this, or what was something you would say to somebody that's going through a tough time or health situation that you?
Process the situation with him, but really just talking it out and having our friends and family there to process with, you know. I bet that's the horse in the Lord, you know, because you can't wait to talk to him about it all first. But, you know, just kind of walking through the process and dealing with it as we went, because it kind of all came fast.
Yeah, you got to talk it out because the truth is there were decisions to be made, and there could be a time where there's something that's a difficult decision. To me, I have always said something that came into play that helped us, which is you don't have major surgery until you have to. And I told her,
Because you have to lay some.
I know what I'm saying is like,
to understand what you're saying.
what that, well, and I mean, I've been in ministry 35 plus years. You've seen, and we see more than the average person, whether that's a sickness, whether that's a death, whether that's a tragedy. I'm in the fire department. You have all of these other factors that determine how things happen. And sometimes people go, well, I'm trying to decide and I'm going to have this surgery, whatever. What I say is do everything you can. And this is me. This is not medical advice. This is Justin's
The
opinion.
Backstage for the Church Podcast.
Right, right, yes.
Please consult
Right.
us.
I just go back and go, well, is there a medicine I can take? Is there exercise I can do? Is there an intervention, a massage therapy, whatever, before you go have them cut on you? And then ultimately, there is a point where they go, the only way to fix this is to do a procedure. And then if they're of the level of procedures, I want them less invasive as possible until the most. Well, in this situation, that made my decision in my mind easier. But
Because
Um,
we were this is what I'm saying they're not gonna follow is we were given the option, open heart surgery now to do bypass surgery and then go ahead and remove the tumor now. So that was an option laid on the table for us.
yeah, what I mean by
Or
that,
you could get us,
before you get to mine, all general surgeries. So it doesn't matter if it's knee surgery, if it's ankle surgery, whatever. I just always say, regardless of my situation, I tell people, man, is there anything else you do before you do it? Because once you have a surgery, everything else has some risk associated, whether that be infection, recovery, there's a lot of whatever's going to go on. So then I go minimally invasive to, okay, I got to have it. Well, in my situation, the stent was brought up, and that was my first thing. It's like, well, that's what I should do. But then we actually went and talked to the surgeon because I wanted all of the information. I called other doctor friends and go, that's just my mindset, but walk me through it. Am I making a poor decision or a wise decision? And even with our surgeon, Dr. Bowl, he's like, I see you going with stents, right? And it will not affect negatively if you have to have open heart. So you're trying to gather all that information, but with the people you love, you bring them with you. Some men don't bring their wife with them, or a woman goes, I'm just going to make this is to me,
They might not want to go.
right. And my
it's
deal
so cool
is,
to have each other because one person will think of questions to ask, the other person won't.
And
then
we're two
remember it
become
all,
one.
and two become one. You got to talk it all out.
And whatever happens on either one of us, it affects a lot of other people. So I also told my brother, which goes back to the church and making sure all the directional leadership team. And I chose the approach because it's a minimally
Minimally.
invasive thing. So like going to the stent, we're not worried about it. Like anything can happen. Anything can happen when I leave here too. You don't call. I mean, you just pick the easiest route. So if something happens beyond that, then you go the next route. But you've done it after you've talked about that and you've walked through those.
You go back to biblical, right? It's wise counsel.
Sure.
And you didn't
Oh,
get and start a church
Yeah.
that you would one day get free medical advice. But over years of community, of
Right.
all the people that you've influenced, you have this network. And it's the way the church is supposed to work.
Yep.
And then if somebody comes to us, we know doctors and people
Yep.
that are
Yeah.
wise, that have
Mhm.
that know. Versus I know I have friends that moved here 5-10 years ago that never found a doctor. They don't have
Yep.
a primary care doctor.
Yeah.
It's like you don't have anybody that you would know to go ask and you go WebMD it. You go in,
Right. And that's
look
why
in a mess. And
Church community is key.
absolutely. I'll go
It
back to
really-
why God set it up.
and that's why like friends and relationships matter. Like I called Jason Milligan, I called Ricky Davison, I mean I called Jeff Holt. I mean we just went through Mike Sewell. I'm calling, all of these other people
And you're
just
not
to go.
constantly bothering to ask people for.
No, but
like
they
not
also
doctors that want to do that.
right, if you have relationships with people, you're just trying to make the best. Now again, that's the best decision I could make at that point, feeling good about it, and we move to the next step. But the reason all of this is being talked about, which I want to take it off of me, is to someone else, is having a church community. If you don't have doctors, there are people we can say, if you're new to the community, go, hey, here's some people we've used that had good success with, and people are relational, and then also a group of people to walk through things with. And in a context of a life group or a church, you can at least have a pastor to pray with you. You can have a small group that's helping you through things. Where in the past, I've heard of other people, they don't have anybody. And I've seen it. I've been on scenes where, that's why I get called. It's like, hey, man, you have a pastor you can call? And they're in the worst day of their life and they've never had that. So that's why you partner. That's why you
Sure.
come. You're trying to go in preparation for whatever's around the corner. I have resources at my disposal.
I got a good segue into partner party.
Yeah, unless there's anything else. You got anything else?
I don't think so.
I'm just glad you made it. See, Angie says, I'm
Absolutely.
coming in.
We're always glad.
So partner party, what I was trying to say, that was a large turnout yesterday. So thank you for coming. And if you didn't make this one, we're going to try to do them a little bit more regular now that we have this awesome overflow / studio room.
Multifunctionals.
Yes. And the reason that it's called the overflow is that's what they refer to it on Easter, Christmas, big days. Studio is because it's actually where we're doing this right now. You're in the studio, the podcast studio. So it's kind of got dual purposes. Because they asked me that yesterday, why is it called both? Somebody gave a mess. I was like, right behind there, tomorrow I'll be in the podcast, and it's on Backstage. And they're like, oh, that's cool.
Lit.
Yeah. So the one thing I'll say is thank you for coming. And there were so many people. I mean, there's almost 100 people in there. And
See, the biggest one we've had post-COVID.
yeah, and they were all very, very kind and really wanting to dive in deeper and understand and walk through all that. And volunteer will be next, so that'll be in 2 weeks. And then we came up with breaking news, Backstage with Simple Church. I'm actually going to do something I've never done before in the history of Simple Church in 18 years.
Do it now, public.
Yeah, I'm gonna do another exclusive just for that group of that 100. They're invited to come right back in the overflow studio, and we'll talk one more time to make sure that I answer all the questions, because 45 minutes is very fast. But the thing is to try to take that next step. We may call it next steps. We don't know what we're going to do, but we may make it from this point on. There will be a partner party where you can join and you can get a lot of your questions answered. Then you can do volunteer to find out where you volunteered.
Towards June 14th.
And then the next steps, which will be 2 weeks after a volunteer every time, it will be like, all right, what question did you miss? Like, do we need to go deeper on life groups? Do we need to go deeper on the building? Do we need to go deeper on finances? So that they all can go. It's not just a one class and done. It kind of builds to get community. And the big word here is, like, it's a big church. So when you can get in there, number one, I saw people buddying up and talking and like, I didn't know you've been here. And they begin to kind of form that. And that's the key to being, even when we go back to medical, you have to have a community. Everybody can get information anywhere. There's podcasts everywhere. There's sermons everywhere. There's television. You can get sermons and listen to the best preachers in the world, but what you cannot get online is community at a level that you can get in person. Yes, there's communities that are online, but there's not the same as in a community in the flesh where you can walk together. I saw people giving each other hugs and people.
You had somebody commented about having the opportunity to be able to talk to each other, because you
Yeah.
don't really get to do that on Sunday.
Yeah, and then
short of
right, and they
coming in.
hug.
Then the right hand of fellowship. Not anymore.
Yeah. Well, and it's really more like that's where we're talking about keeping it at round tables. We had more than we could fit, but it's not rows, it's circles. It's still this idea of where you can get and go, man, what's your story and how'd you get here? What's your kids? And somebody was telling like, hey, I've been coming for a year, and one of them was like, man, I've been here for 2 years, and then well, they thought and met and decided to do a life group yesterday. And so it's like because they didn't know, and if you're in there, you don't have them in a small enough, medium-sized group to be able to do that.
Yeah.
And we think we're going to launch in the fall some seminars that'll be along the same line. So like a parenting seminar, and then I mean all kinds, so that on Sunday morning at the 10 o'clock hour, you can get the big group to a medium-sized group and maybe find a way to get connected a little easier, even before we go into life groups and all that. So that's kind of breaking news and trying some things that are a little bit different. And you can sit in there. Anybody's welcome to sit in there, but it doesn't take the place of church. It's more of an informal Q&A, and it's if you've partnered. That's why you need to partner. And then if you missed it this time, it'll be the next time.
More ways for people to figure out what their next step is going.
That's exactly right. And good God, we all need help figuring out the next steps.
Absolutely. Folks watching on Facebook, again, tune in, join us Mondays, 3:30 from the live stream. Carla says hi from North Bossier. Catherine Orr said, praying for you, bro. Terry Seaman said, not everybody can be a Greek god like me.
Right. That sounds like he's got the Keith Lockhart syndrome, by the way. That's my buddy. Y'all, they joke. He's always like, I got the body of a Greek god. Like, y'all do. I don't. I have the. I don't know what mine is. Yeah, mine's failing.
And then David Kruger said he did have 90% blockage in one and 80% two. So he beat you by a little bit.
Yeah, see?
A couple years ago, he did have a heart attack.
And they do. Did they do shit?
I don't think he did. I think he went and had
Open heart. Yeah. Yeah, when you get so far, and if you have a heart attack, it's a wrap. I mean, you got to go get what you got to do to get it done.
Yeah.
So
It's so crazy that you have no
symptoms.
No
Yeah.
chest pain.
Nothing.
No.
I'm doing more than ever. The last 3 years.
oh, God. That's what I mean.
Building.
Like, yeah, I don't know how to.
Do they think it was because maybe you've been working a lot harder in the last 3 years? Just
Just genetics. So, like, you have your body, basically, from what I understand, and I'm not an expert and I'm not giving medical advice, but from the meetings that we've had, some bodies create more cholesterol than other bodies by genetics. So, you have to find a way to alter that chemistry in your body, which just like if I had a chemical imbalance on depression or something else, you have to, diabetes, you're taking medicines to offset that. So healthy diet, exercise, all help. So ironically, in the last 2 years, I have been more physically active probably than any time. I mean, I did not stop building this building. The most physical exercise I've had ever.
You lost like 20.
Yeah, I'd gotten down to 185
We saw.
pounds, and I weigh now 195. And before I started, I was at 205. I mean, back then. So I lost 20 pounds in that
You
couple of months because it was literally I had no time to eat, and we're physically getting everything done, and we doing that to save money and all the other things.
I will say though, probably because he is so active all the time, he's not out there like running marathons, but because he is always physically active, and even when he was younger too, I think those things probably contributed to him being as well as he is at this point.
yeah, maybe it not taking until this long,
Right.
Versus 40.
Right. Well, what's funny to me is to think like, if this is the way I feel now, I cannot wait to figure out how I feel after stints. I want to come back and go like, I'm going back.
He's
to
gonna
be
run that marathon.
Boy, y'all thought y'all knew. So everybody like, he needs that.
High energy.
Well, I
Oh,
was dancing. The second song we did this past week was fun. It was, and I'm like, dude, the Holy Spirit, let's
Sound
go.
gritty.
It's gonna be a
Yeah,
little
that's
sad.
great.
He's gonna come
And then they came in and were like, all of them are like, calm down. You're gonna. I'm like, man, if you think if I'm gonna go out, that's a good way to go. I was doing the gritty to a Holy Spirit song. I mean, honestly, I'm not trying to die. You know what I'm saying? So,
Oh,
No,
but
if
truthfully,
that gives him more energy. I told my girlfriend the other day, I was like,
Hey,
you
man.
better, somebody got to.
it's about to go after.
Help me.
You heard what's happening, baby.
Help.
Y'all better know what's going on, boy.
I'm
Hey,
sorry for you viewers.
Well, I'm sorry, man. Don't be sorry. We worship. And let that worship flow. So, all right.
Mm.
What else?
Anyway.
Anyway,
Volunteer. Let's talk about that for a minute. You hit on it. So 2 weeks from now, if that's what you want to do, if you're interested in volunteering on Sundays primarily.
All right, so let's talk about all this. You're backstage with Simple Church. You're listening to the podcast. You watch the sermons. You come once a month. And most of you, that's the goal.
talking about my arc right now.
Right.
Yep.
The goal is to take a little bit of a step in whatever direction to grow closer to God and give him more of your life. So sometimes that's time, sometimes that's resources. And I would say in an ideal world, it is both. So sometimes you have to take a little step to go, I'm only going to give $1 to start doing something to where I'm helping God. Or my job, yeah, like my job, I'm going to, like, I brought it up. Casey Shaw, I'm going to brag on Sugar Show. Right down here at the East Bank, great friends that come to church and all that kind of stuff. And I said, hey, we're opening up the Do Good Cafe. Can you help me or whatever? Her job is baking. That's what she does. She has a great business at it. So then I was like, can you help the church? Not by some huge discount, but you make your money, but maybe a little bit of discount so that when we sell it for $6 and we bought it for $4, $2 goes back into the Do Good Fund or back into the church fund. Well, it helped her business. It gave you as a parishioner a way to, hey, I enjoyed this, and it got a couple of dollars. And then next thing you know, that's a little step. Now, it's killing your heart, I understand. Just kidding.
It goes against our healthy.
Yeah, it goes
Moderation.
but in moderation, but it's just an illustration. One's a business, one is the consumer.
Yeah.
Both are helping the church because both, whether your business or you buying it, it helps.
And then she set up the partner party yesterday.
Right, and then the next part is, well, I could probably get $5 a month. This is like just an example where you're starting. I'm broke. I don't have anything. Well, you just start trying to go, hey, God, I'm gonna do it. Sometimes it's not just a church. It may be towards some organization or something that's going on. You're going, God, I want to help with that. Well, the other side of that is your time. Like you go back and go, of your all of the things you're doing in life, how much does God get of you? Do you spend time with him in the morning? Are you reading his word? Are you coming to church consistently? Do your kids learn that and model that from you? Because as we said, we're on a trend that ain't a good trend. It's going away from attendance. It's going away from involvement. And so the next thing you know is over time, you wonder like, how in the world did I get here? Well, volunteering is above and beyond just the base. So it's, if you're partnering, that's the first step. Is like, look, we don't need members. Members are receivers.
Like a country club.
A partner is, no, you're giving. So that's the big difference. People say, why is it called a partner and not a members? Because membership's like I join the club and I get to use everything for free and I've paid my dues and I don't have to do anything, but I'm just going to enjoy the benefits. I love the music. I love the preaching. I love the cinnamon roll. I'm just going to take. Well, what we said 18 years ago and are still saying now is like, no, it's not about taking. It is about giving. And so when you can find ways to do that, whether that's in Angie's volunteer group, for example, the Do Good, we moved them back to volunteers, which Angie wasn't for that at first. And Angie, was that a good idea or a bad idea?
Fabulous.
I just want to make sure that we knew.
I just knew it was gonna take a whole lot of work to
And
get it there.
she has done it and it has paid. Has it been beneficial?
Hugely beneficial.
And it's not just
Oh.
beneficial for her, it's all of those volunteers because they have a place. And they go, dude, and a lot of them are,
We have new relationships established between us.
Which
It's
creates
nice
community.
too.
Alicia partner party yesterday. You started volunteering.
I
yeah,
love it.
it's all about community and it's about and then the next thing you know, you were giving 30 minutes to God. Now you're going, well, I'm giving an hour and I didn't even know it. Or now I went to church for an hour and I gave an hour serving and now I'm at 2 hours a week.
100% more.
So, and in the long run, as we were talking about in staff meeting this morning, all of us think it's the other way, which is comfort, or for me, I don't have time for that. When I will guarantee you, and I will challenge everyone, it is the opposite. When you die to yourself and you serve and you give back, you begin to live. And when you don't, you die. You slowly wither into this self-pity, nothing's going for me, I'm where I'm at, wherever's going to go on. And the next thing you know, how did it end up here? Where if I could go, we had teenagers, they took a group to Honduras. And these teenagers all came back radically excited and changed. And every one of them walked in thinking this is going to be a miserable week. They're all going, I can't believe I'm doing this. Didn't go, trying to talk themselves out of going.
Really?
Yes. And everyone that came back like, this was unbelievable.
Adult almost didn't go.
And
They were
every
telling
single-
stories, yeah.
Every single one of their parents said, "I've not seen this smile in years. I haven't seen them look like this in years."
And I get tired of saying it, but that's why to me, it's like, why even like if it's for the chaplain thing or for helping with the boardwalk or doing the more I can give, yes, there's a balance. Yes, you get tired of whatever's going on, but I promise you think you're doing it enough, but truthfully, when you do, it's like God does give you more. I look at my life and go, how do I have the energy and the time to do Well, he seems to somehow make it all happen because he blesses back with not just resources, but with time. And that's why, like, even like this Wednesday, I'm not worried about whether I die or not. It's in his hands, honestly. Scripture says, like, you are appointed a time to die. If it's my time, it don't matter what any one of y'all wanted to do or what the doctor wanted to do, dude, it's my time to go. But I also know until that, you go and you put the pedal to the metal because it is better to burn out than to rust out. And I mean that legitimately. So if you look at my life and everybody's trying to protect me, and I don't mean I'm just going to be out of control and die because I'm crazy, but I am saying the church has a tendency to rust out before they burn out. Everybody kind of sits back in comfort and we go, well, one day we're going to figure all that out. In 18 years of the simple church, you know that's not me. Why in the world, after 18 years, would I start switching that now? So whatever
You
we're
won't.
pushing for and whatever we're changing, whatever we're going
Doing them a long
for,
time.
is there's a point in it. Like I wanted to be, I'd be on every mission trip. I would not miss any one of them if I could. I know I can't, and money and people and whatever. But the reason why is I don't want to miss what God's doing. I don't want to miss it. I love the fact that we get to do it. It's exciting to me see it. And like the people I meet, I think Kathy's listing, like, what a blessing to know her and meet her. And if I wasn't doing the church and she didn't give and sacrifice, I wouldn't know all that. I mean, Miss Pat yesterday at the partner party, 18 years ago, a widow with that said she was an old lady, God used to radically change all of us and build the simple church. And 18 years later, her and her husband now, Mr. John, are here.
Tell the story again real quick. You said yesterday was great about coming to build the furniture.
Yeah, like we were at another church. I was early on doing family ministry, and we were trying to build. This is so sad, but true. We were trying to build the furniture that was going to be equipped in the new nurseries. So, in other words, I'm the family pastor. We built this $6 million project. We had to furnish it all. And to save a little money, you had to buy the furniture and you had to hand put it together. Well, I make an announcement to the church. Hey, I need people to help.
Thousands of people.
Thousands of people. Nobody really does. Now, this is the culture at that time at that place. So I was like, hey, man, I'm not kidding. Like, I need some help. Well, there starts to be a few people here and there, but we start getting some. But once again, it's a consumer mentality. Give me. I ain't never done good with that. Still don't do good with that. So this old widow, and that's her words, not mine. She really wasn't that old then. I mean, we're all older now, but had lost her husband tragically. Comes in and she said, Justin, if you can use me, I'll do it. Name's Miss Pat. We do. We use her. I'm like, hey, Miss Pat, that's what we're doing. What's within your wheelhouse you can do? And then she hears we're launching the Simple Church shortly after that. She comes back to me in that in that run of going, hey, if you'll still use an old lady, I'd love to go with you to help make that happen. And for 18 years, she's wiped down the drinks at every partner party, never missed a partner party. Got married, brought her husband in reluctantly. I'm sure Mr. Jones was like, what in the world? I mean, seriously, he's a retired motor sheriff, a great guy.
Donated a vehicle, right?
Yeah, donated vehicles. They helped me. I mean, in honor of my mom, we even donated one to Mexico, and they were part of all that. I just go back to your life is what you make it, and you make it in how you're serving and giving. It is not in what you're taking. And so for me, it's cool to see all these stories. But when I see 100 people in here, and I think about with 80, we launched the Simple Church. Imagine if that 100 just got a glimpse of what it was really about, what the next 10 years could look like, or the next 20 years. And then if all of us got it, I'm talking about financially, what if everybody gave a little more? Like when we were launching, we didn't have anything. When our offices, we were talking about the day we're getting ready to move offices to the boardwalk, and we built all that ourselves. So like this pastor is in there. I framed that, sheetrocked that, and textured and painted our office.
This pastor didn't know anything about clean up. I was there doing those tiles.
And you go back and go, that's crazy. What's going to go on? It's like, no, I wouldn't trade it for anything. It's like even here, we have to. I have to. I'm honored to serve the kingdom. I'm honored to give it. I want to go for it. And then you look back and go, and then God blesses us with all kinds of blessings. This building, the boardwalk, our city, our friendships, our relationships, the community, and world impact. We're in Honduras and Rwanda. I mean, I'll tell you one other crazy story on that, because this one's behind the scenes, and I don't even think you know this. This is crazy what I'm fixing to say. I'm going to my life group 2 weeks ago. I think it's 2 weeks ago. we're going to Posadas in Bossier. I'm parking in the back and I'm walking up and I see a black family walking up. Well, if you've ever been to Rwanda, Rwandans have a unique look. Their facial structure, the color of their skin, they're darker, their features. So I'm like, man, they kind of look Rwanda, you know. So I don't know anything. I just see it from a distance. Well, as we get closer, I can hear the faint accent. And I say, Rwanda, you know, pointed over at them like I would do, cutting up. And they're like, man, their faces lit up like, oh my God.
Or the chase somebody in boots,
Yeah.
Louisiana, Posadas nose.
Recognize your accent.
Okay, so then they look at me, and then I said, Mozungu Manini. And that's a Rwandan word for fat white man. And they laugh, they
The
start
kids
laughing.
know you're
Like,
back.
so they're like, oh my God, like I'm legit. Like they know. I mean, you throw out Mozungu Manini, there's not many people that know that, right? So they're like, I said, well, come on, what are y'all doing? They're over for a conference. We're trying to figure out, you know, how do you know? And so we go in, I follow them their table. He goes, I work for the Rwandan embassy in Washington. And we're sitting there talking. He's got his teenage daughter, you know, his college age daughter's wife. And they're just beaming because some way from their country, I was like, look, here's what we've been doing. Here's who we work with. Here's how long we've
Let's be
done it.
honest. When they came to Louisiana, they were probably worried about some other reaction.
Yeah, that's exactly right. They're like, and then all of a sudden we're like cutting up and laughing and everything. So I said, here's my email me, you know, and like, I'd love to talk. She's like, hey, will you please come to Washington? We want to take you to the Rwandan embassy. We want you to, I mean, y'all done a lot for our country and our people. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to tell my wife, we'll figure it out. We'll come up and see you.
Right now, we sponsor a couple hundred kids.
Oh yeah. And at one
Could do one
point
for one.
we had 800 sponsored kids. So just reflect on that $1 million+ of sponsorship worldwide.
Yeah.
So probably about half of that now, probably 400 something maybe. But anyway, so we're doing all that. Well, today I get an email. You ready for this? This is so funny. So they said, hey, Zoom meeting, you know, it's me from whatever. And I'm like, they were like, this is kind of a crazy question, but the Olympics are in 2028. Okay. And we have a Rwandan swimmer. Would you be interested in helping that Rwandan swimmer come to the Olympics so that we can have a Rwandan in the United States?
The Jamaican bobsled team. We're gonna make the movie.
And I'm like,
Feel the
I
ride.
almost cussed again. I'm like, heck yeah, we would. You know, I mean, sure, like, I mean, why would, like, that's a dream. Like, imagine if you're, man, I've been to Rwanda, I've been in the villages. I mean, I know what these kids are in. My kids, we sponsor, they're in poverty. And to think that a Rwandan kid could come to the Olympics, and he may get blown out of the water. Michael Phelps, he ain't got a chance, all right? Whoever the new
I'm tired, so
I'm just saying
Got
in general.
The best in the world.
Yeah, the
To
best.
get be a part of it and to get a ceremony.
And that's the spirit of the
represent
Olympics.
your country.
Yeah, and like, and then I'm putting on the Rwandan flag with him, cuz I'll be like, yeah, black.
You know the enhanced games?
Huh?
You know what that is? The
No.
enhanced games? First time ever, this company came together and they let every illegal drug be used and said, we're going to break every world record. And they used steroids and they used every performance enhancer to try to break all these records. And they called it the enhanced games.
See, now that's a sidetrack that I would have never saw coming. But like, I'm like, yeah.
Thank you for
Shocking.
the
There you
tip.
go.
do it?
Look it up.
Did they beat the
They
record?
broke some records. It wasn't as many as they thought, but it's crazy.
Like putting the Avengers in a
On steroids,
Yeah.
literally.
So back to
It's my turn to
non
talk about
non-drug use of whatever.
Thank you.
not the enhanced games.
Right, but I'm like, if we had never gone to Rwanda, we had never sacrificed to make that happen. I never would have met the person. And then you don't even know the rest of this story. I don't know the rest of the story. So then I go back and how God loves the world and he cares for all these people and that he would arrange for us to walk up at Posadas in Bossier City at the exact moment. I go back and go, my God. And then the college daughter sitting there like, she just can't believe it. Because, you know, you got your
Yeah.
kids, but then she's just like, and I'm like, I know it's kind of crazy because who would think this Mzungu would be like right there?
Standard
And
preacher,
like,
yeah.
yeah, it's like, it's just crazy to me. And that's where I go back and go like, God, thanks that we get to do it, man. How cool is that? And I ain't told anybody that story.
You're talking to Carol right now in Australia.
Right. Yeah,
It's
like,
wild.
yeah, Carol, we'll sponsor if you want to be on the Olympic team.
It's
too.
swim. Come on.
Yeah. I bet they can swim.
There's some Australian swim.
Yes. But I'll only just say, really, like, be willing to be used. Like, what you give, what you got.
Juarez, your next chance. You can sign up.
Yeah,
With the
I'm
link in
gonna
the show notes.
I know.
If I'm allowed to go.
Cleared.
Yeah, if I'm
Medical
cleared, I'll be
cleared.
there.
End of July, you can go and sign up today. It's a great trip. It's low cost, easy to get to. Good luck for you to join us.
And Jason Montgomery will be there too.
There you go. You know, somebody in this podcast never been to a mission trip. So
You've never been on a mission trip?
Nope.
That's an
We
easy
talked
one.
about that.
Mm-hmm. Still getting them. He's still not doing it.
Yeah, and it'll change your world. You'll be so messed up. This is what messed me up probably all these years ago. And Angie, let's go back since you're on this podcast, and it's behind the scenes, backstage.
Yeah.
We fell in love. We committed to the ministry. We all because we were willing to get uncomfortable and go where nobody else would go when they told us we shouldn't go, and made it difficult to go. And what did God do in your life?
Tear up. I can't talk yet.
Well, I'll talk more. See,
You
but she
took a
cried. Well, she cried.
15-year-old kid too for that trip.
Yeah, when she cried, it makes me cry, you know. But I go back and just go, like, what would I trade for that? Nothing. There's nothing. And thank God we have some pictures back then because we took like real pictures. There wasn't a camera. I mean, there wasn't a phone.
It was the best.
That was 98,
I mean,
1998. We got married. We did that trip
That
in the
was in
same
March.
year. Got
March,
engaged in June and married in October, all in the same year. But I go back
it
to
went down quickly.
yeah, but like what? Seriously, like when you go back to that.
Oh gosh, I remember it. I mean, y'all, I know we've talked about this before, but I was still like such a new baby Christian. I mean, I was in the clubs like a year prior.
What I'm talking about.
I'd only been a Christian for like
$80 say Patrick.
I wasn't on the pole, but I wouldn't have I would not have put it past me. But I was in the clubs, and so I was such a new Christian, sold out, loved Jesus with all my heart, but everything was so new. And I just talk about feeling like unequipped to go on a mission trip, but I knew with all my heart that that's what God wanted me to do. I had such a close relationship with the Lord. It was an easy yes.
And you spoke Spanish.
When you asked me to go, yes, and thank God I studied Spanish in college because that has always been a benefit. I mean, ever since I would have never known when I was in college that I was learning Spanish to use.
Why did you take Spanish?
My ex-husband was,
Yeah.
he was actually from the Dominican Republic, and so I learned how to speak Spanish so that I could communicate with his family.
And
How weird is that? So I get divorced my senior year in college, and then let's see,
I mean,
I didn't meet you. Let's see, I didn't meet you for a couple of years after that.
so you just go back to
Yeah.
like somebody's got a story and they're like, man, I went through a divorce. You know, a guy can't use me. I was in the club.
Oh, when you carry so
And then you carry all that, and then here she is later on. I mean, we've been married now 28 years. Think about that. And then been on mission trips, and you go, what if you let the enemy keep talking in your ear?
Oh my gosh.
I'm first.
And then you never willing to risk it. You're never willing to go on the trip. You're never willing to sign it. You don't even know what that looks like. You don't know what is really at stake. And then what I say for Jordan over there, who's never been on one, is like your kids.
You either?
I ain't never been out this country.
What is happening right now? So why are you not going then when we go in July for a good break-in trip?
We'll talk about
And Jordan, you should. When you go with me, there's a couple things gonna happen.
It's
Number
so
one,
fun.
you're gonna have fun.
No doubt.
But number two, it will be life changing. And Juarez, there's a lot of good things about Juarez. Everybody thinks like, oh my gosh, I could never do that. But number one, the food, you will never eat better food than Warfish to take on that trip. That's the truth. I don't care what it is. They just do a phenomenal job at eating. But then also like to have the reward of helping someone who can't help themselves in that situation. It's not like our poverty. It's a different poverty. It's a different situation just because of opportunities and things. So it's not that we don't do stuff here, we do. But then when you go there, you're like, and there's something about getting that far out of your comfort zone. God does something every time. The more you're willing to get out of your comfort zone, it's like, man, there's something to it.
Jack said about his trip was it was a chance for him to get away and be able to turn off the noise of the everyday, and be able to really think about what he was doing out there.
And it's a short trip. Like Juarez is even shorter than any other.
I mean,
I will be bold and say this.
It's the drive.
It's covered, no cost. It's covered, no
Woo!
cost.
On air here.
So there you go. Call them out, son.
That's it. I
Call
like
them
it.
out.
I'm here. Change my life. I'm all.
And the reason I said it is like people joke about it. Like I don't care if you listen to another sermon, but I care with everything that you go on the next mission trip. And the reason why I say that No sermon listening in my life has done what a mission trip has done, and I'm the pastor. So call that what it is. It's not saying the sermon's not valuable. It's not saying the Bible study is not valuable. God uses it all. But what I will say is, if you are stuck, if you are struggling, if you are trying to figure it out, the only powerful way that I have seen it do it, and Jack would be the latest, and Jack would tell you, if Jack was sitting here, which he should come on the podcast and tell you, is that did it for me. He's heard how many sermons. He's heard his mama, and I mean, like all of that stuff does whatever it's going to do. Ask Daniel. He just got back from. Ask Christy Rowe tearing up at the meeting today. Ask Jessica. There's something that, and mine goes back to Bono. I'm a U2 guy, and I said it in the partner part of this past weekend. God is with us when we are with them. That's a Bono phrase. And I know that to be true. I have experienced it. I have seen it. And whether that's in the prison, whether that's in the hood here, whether that's in the barrio of Mexico, or whether that's in the villages of Rwanda, there's something that God does in that. And what I hope and pray is that the Simple Church continues to lead that in every sense of the word. Sermons come and go, but imagine if the church really got mobile. Like, really, if we got so uncomfortable. Do you think another sermon is going to change the world, dude, when we got so much information? Just really put it in the perspective of, like, how many sermons are being preached right now worldwide, you know, and then God knows that, and he's not against that, but he never says that's the goal. He doesn't. That's not the goal. The goal is for us to go live that out. I said, preached it again. Mark 10:45, the Son of God did not come to be served, but to serve and to give his life. Follow my example is how that whole thing starts. So
that the first
yeah, that's the first. Mark 10:40. And the reason why is, like, to me, those things are like, and you can do it here. We can pick up chairs here, and that's important, and we can wrap a table. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
And but I've started God for those things.
Middle school, it's always, it's different.
But I mean, and if there's a hill you're dying on, and I mean that literally, like
Hopefully not.
I wouldn't mind being that in the middle of Monterey, you know. I mean, Paras de la Fuente, that's a beautiful hill.
Hitting the grid.
And I'll give you one other story. I mean, how much time are we at?
We're about that, yeah.
Okay, so let me just give you one more line, and Angie will take her back there too. And Stuart Thompson, you're listening. I want you to listen. Okay, this is so good. We go to Paras de la Fuente.
Our very first mission trip that we were just talking about.
We're in deep Mexico, past Monterey. I mean, long way in. The other thing I'd say, there were senior adults that made that possible. Carlos and Lupe Meza,
And
yeah,
Bo
Bo Radcliffe, and I want to say maybe one more, but I know it was those two couples. Number one, some old couple said, "We'll go." Switched
with teenagers
and took their RV, not for their vacation, not for their retirement enjoyment, to go down to Mexico to serve people. So for me, I was messed up with Rich Mullins, and that's a whole nother Christian talk that one day I'm going to do a series on, because I've never done it in Simple Church, and I'm going to tell you what really messed me up. Christian music and Rich Mullins, his view and his take. So I'm coming out of that, and it's burnt in my mind. We got to go do this. These old people agree to go. We put these kids like Evan and everybody together. We go down there. No idea what we're doing. We make adobe bricks. We work with an orphanage. I mean, there was no training. I mean, I did like some biblical training and I made y'all do tests.
read a book.
Read a book. There was all kind of like, because it's the Baptist way. We had to torture you before you go. You know what I'm saying? So we had all those other things, and you learn something. So then when we get down there, we don't know what's going to go on, but we go up and there's a Catholic church on this hill, and man, I can visualize it now. The wind's blowing, it's hot, and he said, we can walk up there and just have a little moment if you want. So we walk up this thing, and it's way up, and when you're looking down, you can see these kids playing in the fields. I mean, like in the open grass, they're playing soccer. You can faintly hear their laughter, and like, it's so vivid to me. Like now,
Whistles, and
the
it's like
you
a
know,
small Catholic chapel.
yeah,
Not
and
like a big.
no, it's like just a kind of way to get away, And they have an altar in there, okay. And Stuart Thompson was in the band at the time. Went to Airline. Great kid, loved his dad, loved his brother. But Stuart is on this trip, and he took his horn up there, played trumpet, and expensive horn because he was good, and it was his band instrument. He had worked hard for it. He got it, so he took it on the trip because kids are kids. We're gonna play it. I'm like, sure. So we go up there, and he starts playing Amazing Grace up on this at this church, and everybody just kind of gets quiet. There's no words, there's no sermon. You're just kind of hearing the song. And, dude, it's a powerful moment. And he gets done, and I'm like, okay, we'll wrap it up. We're gonna walk back down, and everybody's kind of emotional. I mean, it's something. God's there. The Spirit is there. God is with us. You were with them. He was there. Everybody's walking down. I see Stuart turn back around, and he's got his school horn, and he places it on the altar of that Mexican Catholic church in the middle of nowhere at the top of a hill that no one will ever really frequent. It's like we're there and there's a couple of things, but it's kind of more like almost like you know, a mausoleum, not a mausoleum, but like it's a solitary place that is not frequented very often because you have to work all the way up there. But it's just a powerful moment. He puts it on there, and I'm like, hey, I mean, this is the youth pastor afraid he's going to get fired. My first trip, I'm like, hey, that was really sweet, like.
It's a nice gesture.
That was nice gesture, but like I know your parents, you need to take that horn and
It's hundreds of.
yeah. I mean, you don't need to do that. I mean, dude, I feel you, and God saw you, and just the heart, brother. That's good. And Stuart looks at me, and he was just like, man, I love you, or I appreciate that, Justin, but there is nothing that will ever allow me to pick that trumpet up and play it again as well as I just played it there. That trumpet stayed there. And I was like, young youth pastor, give, not take. The most, prized possession he has. That's yours, God. That was your moment. And we all walked down, and I'm like, yeah, I can cuss again. And I'm like, early on, that's early ministry for me. Like full time,
5 years ago, yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, God, I get it. And so that journey of trying to understand that or appreciate that or experience that, there's nothing like it. And you don't want to miss it. And when you make excuses or no, I'm not going, it's, you miss it. And those are moments. And that's when I see when Jack and when all of them come back, what the hardest thing is when you've experienced it, and then you come back and everybody's looking at you like, man, what's wrong with you?
Yeah.
And sometimes that was wife because Angie took care of kids. There's times and I'd have it like going to Rwanda the first time, jacked me up. How many times? What I do when I came back?
I still haven't been able to go.
But I was tearful. I'm like, I'm ruined. I'm messed up. All of that is possible because you want to see and experience and do what God wants you to do. And there's something special about that. So I only encourage you. I'm just picking, but I'm also being very serious. It's like every person that calls themselves a Christ follower should make that happen at some point in their life and then make sure your kids experience it. Because in my all student ministry experience, all pastoral experience, all Christianity experience, that's the game changer. It is not a sermon. It is not a worship night. It is not a Bible study. All of those things are beautiful and have their place. But when you can die at a level of it ain't about me, God's like, that's it. And it might be, and for everybody, the reason I always say this, because some people, well, that's just, it's not everybody's gift. You're an absolute, you should know the scripture better than that. Because all of us are called to that. That is not a special gifting. That is, all of us have that calling on our life. Doesn't mean that you couldn't be a good teacher as well, but when it comes down to it, Angie always gets nervous when I get emphatic, but I go look the scripture up because some people use as that excuse, well, I'm just a good teacher or I'm just a this and that's not my thing. If that was Jesus' thing, that's your thing. And so you can't know until you know. A good example would be even like prisons. Like when we go in, everybody's like, I just don't know if I could do that or whatever. Oh my God, that makes me nervous. Has anybody that has gone and left walk out of there and go, ooh, there you go. Thank you, Jesus. Because something happens in those moments that you don't get it any other way. And when somebody says, and they've never done it, I go, that you don't know. But if you'll try it, let God do something in your life. Like be willing. Just be willing. And all of that happens in small ways. But boy, the more you're uncomfortable, the more you give, the bigger the thing is. I don't know why it's that way. It's just the way it is.
A lot of times, the uncomfortableness is the enemy knows that if you go in there and do what God is asking you to do, you're gonna come out of there victorious. You're gonna come out of there doing what He wants. And that's it's not.
Well,
It's true.
and I heard
down.
I heard I don't know who it was. It was just recently on a podcast or maybe it was on a thing. The darker it gets. Oh, it was Brandon Lake and the AEC.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And he said to all the Christians who were content to stay in your own genre. And this is why I love it. This is where I get jazzed up. This is why I fight for King and Country. This is why I challenge them all. I call you out of the light to the darkness. And that's all. Get it, Brand. Get it. Because what difference does a bunch of bright light have make a difference in one room? You were never called to do that. That is not why you've been you're called to take the light to the darkness. And so for us, whatever that is, the darkest places, Juarez, Rwanda, our neighborhoods, the darkest moments, the suicides, the murders, the fill in the blank. We're called to be the light in those moments. And it's very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And when you do, God shows up in a way that you don't get it any other way. So anyway, that's probably plenty in this podcast.
Amen and amen.
Good note. Absolutely. Thanks for tuning in. Again, if you're listening on the audio version, we'd love for you to join us Mondays live, 3:30 on Facebook. Thanks for everybody commenting. Thanks for being here with us. Angie, thank you for coming on.
Thanks for
Any
having
final thoughts? Anything else?
Yeah,
You get the
you,
final
Angie.
word, Angie.
All I can say is that was the great beginning that we had. That we have.
How many years now later?
That was 28 years ago. It was in March, 28 years ago, just passed.
And guess what, Amy? We ain't done yet.
That's right.
Good do. Thanks for listening. Peace.
Peace.